Talk about having kids. All of my love, all of my kisses. Hope you never find about all my misses. Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. It's all good until you say those words to me. In the morning, it's the L word. In the evening, it's the L word. In my emails, it's the L word. Well, I can't take this anymore. To my mama, it's the L word. To my papa, it's the L word. To my sensei, it's the L word. Well, I can't take this anymore. I said, pay me mind, you think I got the time? You seem to think I got one thing on my mind. All those little things that I said to you, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna stay true blue. I count one, I count two, I count three, count four. When I think I got enough, I'm always one more. So don't spell it out, don't say it to me. Cause love, it don't mean one thing to me. In the morning, it's the L word. In the evening, it's the L word. In the emails, it's the L word. Well, I can't take this anymore. To my mama, it's the L word. To my papa, it's the L word. To my sensei, it's the L word. Well, I can't take this anymore.
Yeah, we are live.
Okay, we're live with Memorize. All right. We are going to have to work a little bit on white belt stuff still. I'm trying to get everybody so that they can teach this stuff. And then we're going to have, in about half hour, we're going to do combat machete work. We have combat machetes here that have already been ground down. You all are going to learn how to make them safe, and you're going to be the weapons officer, so we can get that taken care of. We are going to use live weapons as usual, except for they've been ground down, but they'll give you the weight and the feel and everything else with that. So we're going to break up into constituent groups and do white belt techniques. We're going to have half hour or less to do some of the grabs, to redo the grabs again, have some time to do the grabs because I'm sure nobody's practicing. And then I want to try to cover our base, our stance, and possibly kicks and blocks. So without any further ado, we'll go do that. Basic escape to the rear, control inside, control outside, escape to strike. Okay?
Is it a one-hand grab?
To one hand and the same side grab. Okay, now remember, Matthias, when he grabs, I want to roll away like that. That starts my fall. Okay, there's my break. Here's my stance. And you remember your front foot? When you get grabbed, first thing you do is relax. Second thing you do is you roll back on your heels to start your fall, and you make that turn. Make sure that leg is, and then your break is here, and then you're in stance. Okay?
Like right when you're about to break, you turn your foot?
Well, yes. Your whole deal is I want to go that way. So I'm already turned, right? That front foot's got to rotate on your fall, on your heel. Our white belt stance is really elementary, and we never fight out of it except for in white and blue, briefly. And we do that on purpose. A lot of styles do fight out of side stances, and side stances have an inherent strength and an inherent weakness. So as a matter of fact, every stance has an inherent strength and weakness. We have whole classes on how to look at how you're standing and know where to touch you, literally, and you fall over. And that's a really powerful thing. Think about ice hockey and stuff like that where it's dynamic, but you can see them, you know, it's kind of fun stuff. So in our white belt stance, we literally are a little bit wider than our shoulders. Our feet are at 45 like we're riding a horse, and that's where the stance came from bows and arrows, okay? Archery. So our stance is like this. Our body is center line, so our chin is in line with our belly button. We're not lined out over here anywhere. We're in the line, squatting in nicely. Our front hand is a fist and 2 fingers away from our side. Our front hand is loose so it can be hit. Our back hand is like this, like we're gathering a bow, okay? And in Chinese, this is the twin dragon searching for the pearl. Pearl being on your eyeball, okay, historically. So this is our side stance, and we're going to practice that. And out of our blocks for this, there's 3 white belt blocks. Blocks for kicks and stuff coming to the front are like this. Blocks coming to my side are like that. Blocks coming to my head or the back area are like this. Okay, and we're going to pair up, and I'm going to help you practice that. Okay, same pairs. Yeah, he's pretty decent with that stance. And go ahead and get in stance. All right. Real important is his fist and 2 fingers. Stay looking that way. Fist and 2 fingers. Close your hand. Don't keep your hand tight because that can be broken. Okay, you want it loose, right? You don't want your fingers sticking out either. So you want a nice loose hand and a nice loose, relax your arm. Okay, you want to just let that arm fly. You don't, if you make your arm stiff, everybody watch this for a second. If your front arm is stiff and a person does a kick or a crescent, make your arm really stiff, it turns your whole body and allows me to get to his kidneys, okay? Boom. But if his hands were loose and relaxed like we want, it doesn't give away any position. Also notice that he's at a 45 coming off his body. That's really good because he automatically deflects everything that's coming at him. If it's up here, he hits himself, okay? And he has to take the whole brunt, and you can feel that. This is the second easiest bone in the body to break. It's called the ulna. First bone, the easiest bone to break in the body is your clavicle. It takes 7 pounds of pressure to break that, in dynamic pressure. So you see martial arts styles, hard styles that drive down with their arm. We're the second easiest bone in the body to break. Usually it's to defend against a kick, right? The tibia, which is this bone, is the hardest bone in the body. So you have the hardest bone going after the easiest, second easiest bone. Who do you think is going to lose? Okay, because that's just stupid. That's my opinion. So take it or leave it. It's just not a smart thing to be diving down like that against kicks. It just isn't. So instead what we do is we actually curl and catch the kick away. So we're actually using our muscle and that turn to block those kicks as opposed to trying to drive down. All right, good. All right, let's continue on. Check our white belt stances out. Good. This should be, yeah, that's in good position right here, right there. This hand needs to be right here. We'll get there. Okay, you guys are getting ahead of us. This hand needs to be right there. Fist and 2 fingers. Okay. Good. Good. What you want to keep is this nice 45 going on there. Correct. So anything coming into your side, you're going to fish it out of there. Keep this just like that. Boom. Right. Perfect. Well, you can sometimes, you know, but your whole thing is just literally batting that away or just walk into him. No, you walk into him when they're in the air. I mean, if they do the jump kick, you just walk inside. Now you're inside the kick, right? And he's screwed.
He's aerial.
He's there. Once he leaves, well, you see a person leap, right? You know he's going to land at that spot. You might as well write a letter because that's where he's going to land. He can't, once a body is in motion, it tends to stay in motion unless acted upon by an exterior force. Okay? Simple. Physics. Right. So he makes a leap. I know he's going to land in a certain spot. I go ahead and make sure that my kick is going to hit his knee when he lands there trying to stop himself. Okay? Just easy thing to do. Yeah. So, all right. Let's take a look at how we make our movement in our white belt. So moving forward, I'm going to actually move my base leg up underneath me and then step out. Okay? So this is with a bad knee. Going one way on a side stance is how you do that. If I'm going to go the other way, same thing. Up underneath, step out. Up underneath, step out. Okay? We do not do this. What I just talked about, right?
Nail that knee.
Once I'm going forward, I can't stop. And you're going to nail that knee. Okay? Other people do that. So we like to watch how people move. So when I'm moving forward to somebody, I'm checking to make sure it's still okay to move forward before I take that step out, but I'm stepping with control, not out of control. Okay, let's give that a try. and you should be retreating. Yes.
I can't take this anymore. To my mama, it's the L word. To my papa, it's the L word. To my sensei, it's the L word. Well, I can't take this anymore.
Now on our retreat, you're just stepping back and dragging. Our retreat is we pull our front leg back and then we step out. Pull our front leg back and step out. Okay.
Like the gun thing?
No, it's similar, but not quite the same. Very basic stuff,
Well, sorry, because I was, when I'm backing up,
right?
I'm kind of,
Well, you won't have time in a fight to do that,
okay.
typically. Okay, so
I
we
don't
just,
need to worry about that.
no, you don't need to worry about that.
Okay.
This is white belt stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you retreat by pulling your body away first and then stepping back. Okay, let's practice. We're going to learn our first kick. God help me. It's in white belt. We have 4 kicks. We have a kick to the stomach, a kidney hook kick comes in and catches the kidney, and then we have 2 groin kicks, one from the front leg, one from the back leg. So in our stance, when we're going to go kick, we actually stick our butt out, literally. I mean, and notice that my feet are going 45 the opposite direction. The reason why is we want our legs, our biggest muscle is our gluteus medius and maximus on our butt, okay? And that's our strongest muscle in our body. For most of us, Larry Sensei, okay? And so,
The other one's the tongue.
yes, something like that. And so that's what we want to. Now notice also I'm squatting. I'm not up straight, okay? Because I've taken a knee injury, I will have to get up to make my kick off my right leg. But you won't do this. You'll stay in the squatted position. Notice I'm also cupped over. So when I came from here, I came to this position right here. I'm looking right over my shoulder. I'm still seeing him. This foot's going to come up and make a slapping motion like that, right into his stomach, okay? Just like so. And then I come back.
Oh.
All right, let's give that a try. Remember, that kick is coming in. It's a slapping kick. I'm taking my back hand like so. Notice that's a broken, our wing, okay? And this one comes to here. Ideally, you'd like to have them meet, but girth of my size isn't going to happen, okay? So you're here. So what happens is the kick comes in, catches here, slides down, and ends up harmlessly on this arm. Okay, and that's why this angle of 45 is so important. If it's too narrow, you're going to take the full front of this thing. So you guys should be able to kick, block, and go back and forth.
It's
Okay?
looking like,
Give that a try. Mm-hmm. Okay. This needs to be like that. Go ahead and slap in on him. No, go ahead and put a little power. Okay, that's it. And then back in stance. And you're back in stance. No, back in stance first. Then you do your kick. Okay, that's good. Now this hand should be loose. Try to point it at his eyes. Remember the thing what we did with the stick? I forgot to mention that too, by the way. Our front hand needs to be pointing directly at the opponent's eyes. If you're fighting Godzilla, it's going to be up there. If you're fighting a midget, it's going to be down there. Okay, that's very important. Right. One thing I forgot to tell everybody was your front hand has to be right at his eyes, so all they really see is this. If you're fighting Godzilla, it's up here. Fighting a midget, it's going to be down there. So you want to make sure that I'm forced to look just at that.
oh, all right.
Yeah,
Like the tip of the
just
sword.
like the tip of the sword or the tip of the humbo. It's the same thing. What I failed to tell everybody was, in our stance, we want our arm to literally point directly at the opponent's eyes. So if you're fighting Godzilla, it's up here. If you're fighting a midget, it's going to be down there. All right. Now, next kick. Everybody did really good with that too, by the way. All of our kicks start from the same position. This is the real mysterious part of Anjing Banfa. Unlike the spinning 360s and all the other stuff, they have a very distinct look to them. We don't. Everything we do starts from the same, almost the same position. That's what freaks everybody out. They don't know what's going to come at them, what kind of kick it is going to be, which is also fun because we're moving halfway to target. It cuts down half of their reaction time to be able to identify it, to figure out where they are, to put a block in place to stop it. We cut that time in half for them, okay, which is kind of clever. So when we come up to this position, I can throw my stomach kick, or I can throw this little hook kick like so. And what it does, it comes up in the shadow of their arm. They can't see it. Comes up in the shadow of their arm and hooks in right at the kidney, okay? So let's go give that a try. The block. That's coming in. Okay. Catch my angles. I'm here and there. Notice my backhand did not change because it's coming into the kidney. I don't need to do that. I want to keep this right here. Right? The other thing I failed to mention was during our kicks, we take this hand, this forward hand, and it's going to come right down my arm, right down my leg, and it protects my kidneys, okay, like so. And then on my way back, so when you're kicking, okay, on the way back. I haven't done that in like 15 years.
Okay, we're going to be working with combat machete today. There are a lot of tools that have been used over the years to practice machetes. We like to train with the real thing. It's the right size, it's the right weight. You can get a lot of machetes out there. I will tell you something we've tried in the past is some plastic ones. I don't know if you can see on here where it's actually chipped when you make impact. This had a good weight to it, but it does chip. And that becomes actually a very nasty weapon at that point. Also, you must be careful that the materials you are using are not too brittle. These will break. And you don't want that to happen when you're training. Some people use the short wooden training tools. Those are fine, but they are normally lighter and bulkier than a machete, so you don't get realistic motion. Some of the schools I've looked at actually use aluminum machetes that are the right size and shape, but they have a pretty good impact. You can see the edges of them become pretty sharp from being dented because the aluminum's sharp when you're hitting aluminum on aluminum, and they are lighter weight. So again, we prefer to use the actual weapon, the actual tool. Size-wise, we tend to use the 18-inch ones. We train a lot with our knee sticks, and the initial inclination is maybe go with the 22-inch machete because it's about the same size as the knee stick. But as you saw in our earlier classes, we hold the arnis up a little bit from the end for capturing, which actually makes, when you look at the handle, the 18-inch very equivalent for our training needs. So I always try to use an 18-inch machete. Aside from that, since this is a single-handed weapon, the lighter weight of it allows you to be much faster, more maneuverable with it than the longer weapon. That extra 3 inches makes a very significant difference in weight. Safety-wise, since we are using the real weapon, we have to be very concerned that we don't injure and kill our training partners. What we have adapted over the years is a method of safety proofing these for training. First thing you need to do, when you get a new machete for training purposes, they come like this. You have a plastic shield on them. Let me grab a silver one so it matches here. Find that. When you get a new machete, they have a plastic shield on. This is made for packing purposes. These are not solid enough to protect you on impact. What we do is we run these along a grinding wheel and make them smooth. So first of all, they're not going to cut the way the sharp edge would, but they are still a thin piece of metal, so just the thinness of that metal going through the momentum is still going to do major damage. You want to spread that impact out a little more. What we have found is most effective is simple door edge molding from any auto parts store. You want the kind that's a tight U shape to go on the edge of sheet metal. And we take this and we actually feed it on all the way around, so it ends up looking, again, this is a black one, so it's all the way around the edge. It gives you a nice, very smooth surface for impact. When you go to the store, the auto parts store, you will find small strips of it versus the long strands of it. The long strands are about 25 feet. They're not very expensive, like $15 for the whole roll. Do get the long roll instead of the short pieces. If you get the short pieces, you will end up sectioning it off. You want the protection to go all the way around, including that point, because we do use techniques where we're stabbing, so you want it going all the way around. Okay. So the steps, pretty straightforward. Get any basic, inexpensive machete, grind the edge off all the way around, including the point so it's rounded. You get the door edge molding, and we feed it on. And we feed this on all the way around, which will take a couple minutes here to squeeze it on. I can even feel on the back there, even though that's nice and smooth, it's still cutting into the hand some. That's why we put this edge on. When you get up to the end, you will need to put a little snip in there just to allow it to fold over. Anywhere in there. It allows it to fold over the edge here better. Make your turn. There's some adhesive in these. These are self-adhesive strips. I think this one's actually sealed shut there. Folded over. Yeah, there we go. Sealed itself shut on the adhesive when I squeezed it down. Now it's going on. And you would obviously do this ahead of time so you have them ready for class. And you fold that all the way around. When you get to the end, you will snip it off. And then I take tape, we take basics duct tape, wrap around there, that secures the ends. And that gives you a very smooth surface to fight against. It's very important that you grind that edge down first. This is one that's probably not going to show up well on camera that was not ground down before we put the edging on. And when we're fighting and training, making impact, the sharp edge actually cut through the door edge molding. So you will need to periodically check these as you're training to make sure you're not cutting through. You do not want to hit your training partner with the sharp metal. And that actually becomes a very rough edge there. So grind the edge first, put the edge molding on. For an extra level of safety, we then put these inside the sheaths that came with them and add a layer of tape around there. That gives you an even extra level of safety. And that's how you end up with an effective training machete that is relatively safe, but do periodically check it as you're training to make sure you don't have any rough edges. As in any of our training with any weapons, we do always designate a weapons officer, whether we're working with knives, guns, machetes, to periodically go through and make sure the weapons are clean, are still safe to train with. This particular one, safety officer found during a test, we were doing some very aggressive fighting and heard a change in sound. So if you have a weapons officer go through periodically, you will protect your students. You want your students to learn to fight safely and effectively. With these here, probably about every 15 minutes you would want to go through and check for safety, depending on how intense you're hitting. And that's our combat machetes.
This is our weapon. Here we're going to do a little combat machete. And may I borrow the Polish assassin, please? In our combat machete class, we're going to, just like our Arnis class, hold it like so in a V shape. This is the best defense, and I like to angle mine slightly towards them. It just depends, but that's just me. He's going to come with a right-handed attack, mind you. He's going to come, and there's two standard attacks we're going to work off of. We're going to work off of attacks that come in like an X across our body. Oh, answer the mail. Number 10 and 11 strikes. when we come down, you can see we're cutting with the edge, okay? We're cutting with the edge of the weapon across the chest. That was the question. So when he goes to strike, I'm going to come onto the outside of that. Remember, I'm sitting here, so he's going to strike down at me. I'm going to come to the outside of that, parrying that away, and then immediately come up to the throat and then take that leg. So he doesn't have his neck any longer. Was it good? Was that good? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we're here. You're going to make that attack. I'm going to come to the outside of that, striking that blade away, coming directly up to hit the head, and then immediately into the leg. Okay? Just like that. All right? Same groups. Well, let's go.
Like that, right?
Yeah,
The X. It's an X, right?
he's going to come in with an X. He's going to try to chop your neck off.
Okay.
And you're going to catch the outside. So as he's coming down, you're catching the outside of that.
All right.
Okay? And parrying that down. Coming directly up at the neck and off with that leg.
Okay. Like in our knees, we're always in a neutral, but when you're attacked, you step
Well,
forward.
we're going to sit like this. Okay? Combat machete. So as he makes his attack, I'm going to come across and kind of catch the back of that, like so. Okay? Straight up the neck, take that leg off.
This way.
Okay? No, but he's got to swing at you first.
Okay.
So as he's coming for your neck, you're going to catch the back side of that.
Okay.
Okay? Okay? Now the thing you want to do with the, after you've come to here, right? Check this arm so it can't come back at you when you make the hit.
I know it hurts.
Back up a little bit. You wouldn't stand that close for real. Okay? All right, let's check that arm. So when you come through and you're on the backside and you've done this, right? You've hit in the neck. Check that arm so it can't come back at you on that hit. Answering the mail, last week we had a question on the, from Gordon actually in Florida, on the utilitarian or the utility aspect of a 10 and 11 strike. With a stick you can't understand that that's the blade. So you're actually cutting across the chest. It's not something that I would normally go do, but because I have to teach our niece the way it was taught to me, we include that in there. But there are some cases where we'll dive down and cut the neck that way, but not across the chest so much. So I believe that answers the mail. What happens is though,
Let go.
when you're here, you've done this, now grab.
Okay. Okay. That's what I was doing.
That way you can push them or,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. After the neck passes through.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, because see now you can push them if you want to.
You want to grab up high?
Yeah, grab a shirt, well, whatever you've got.
Whatever, thing's going to fall off.
Right. Depends on if you hit his arm or the back of that blade. Now we're going to learn to be really rude, all right? We're going to use the back of our blade to be really rude. So that same attack comes in, I'm smacking it out of the way, all right? Now we get really rude because we're going to attack this arm to give him something to think about.
Yep, I did.
Okay, right? Scoot straight across, cutting one side of his head, and we take his neck off, or head right off. Okay? I know everybody will love that. So you see, I'm actually cooking with the with my elbow. It's on the dull side of the blade, moving back in here, and then it's just a nice little wiggle jiggle, and you got a lot of blood. Okay, it gets kicked out of the way. Take your hit to get him thinking about it. Slide right across. Hook. Okay, you can also use him as a human shield briefly. Okay, once you do this, he's going to drop. Okay, which then puts more pressure on his neck for you. Okay, all right, let's give that a try. Very rude combat machete work. There you go. And you want to try to keep it horizontal. Yeah, go ahead and hook up again. Raise this up so you can get it up over the shoulder. See that? Okay. You don't want it down here because then you're going to just fight him. That's what you want. Yeah, I'm down here. So actually he's going to go in that. Okay. Yeah, exactly. You're going to just smack that out of the way. Boom. Absolutely, you can't hold it. That's why we attack it all the time, because if you feel yourself grip.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Exactly. Once you cleave off that muscle, they have no grip strength any longer.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
No, it's actually not. On a big guy, when you come to here, you take this foot and you collapse him. Okay. Right?
Okay.
Bring him down to your size. Those are good sounds.
Worse than me.
Tell me if you notice a difference, Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. Okay. We're going to get some good sound effects on this one.
Love the neck.
Well, you just get that momentum going, but it makes it all messy when you get there. I don't hear him choking. Thank you.
If you're dealing with the taller opponent, would you kind of push me back a little bit?
You can just lay him back into you.
Yeah, or we're collapsing.
the leg and
We're
it's
collapsing the back of that knee and bring him into you. All right, you're going to do a number 1 attack, so it's going to come to my head. We normally block these things just like we did. Now that blade could shatter, okay, so I try to get out of the way, but assuming that it does not shatter. So if we're in here, okay, where I need to go next is onto this hand, but I don't need to get tied up here, okay? So that's going to be my next motion. Or he's going to bring that hand back, okay? I'm going to lose it, bring the hand back. I still am going to go head for this neck, okay? That's where I'm headed for. Once you're here, both sides, okay? I'm in here, okay? Boom, boom. Notice the condensed, notice I'm being nice and tight with my strikes. Does that hurt?
No.
Okay, cut, cut. Yes, notice it's on my hip. Okay, I've got some serious pressure on him now.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so you're gonna strike, strike, hip. Okay, serious pressure. Notice, I'm gonna run this way. I'm now holding his hand. So from that strike again, we're here, boom, hand, strike, strike, yeah, okay? And if you're really mean, here, lob that arm off. Not that there's gonna be anything left, okay, but for the dramatic effect. And how you did that was your exit, you're striking up on this side, through, down, okay, done. No.
Oh, you want
Hip, hip. Put it on your hip. There. Now feel that. Yep. Boom.
I've been looking for a girl like you, not to have, not to hold.
Just good enough. And that's okay. Here, just grab the backside like that. Okay.
Having kids, all of my love, all of my kisses. Hope you never find about all my misses. Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. It's all good until you say those. In the morning, it's the L word. In the evening,
There's 2 necks, so neck, neck. And it's the return of the second neck. You get the first neck, right? And it's the return of the first neck right to your hip.
to my papa, it's the L word. To my sensei, it's the L word. Well, I can't take this anymore.
I had a case where it was similar to this. I came in, right? And as I went for that, he grabbed my arm, okay? Then I whopped him. Pop. I had a case just like that. Pop.
That would work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just drop your wrist.
Yeah, I just pop, you know. We'll see what the feels like.
No.
Okay.
L word. In the evening, it's the L word. In the emails, it's the L word. Well, I can't take this anymore. To my mama, it's the L word. To my papa, it's the L word. To my sensei, it's the L word.
Okay. Now you. Now remember, all your grabs, okay, are still.
It's still applying, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just got weaponing.
Yeah. We do throw machetes, you know.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
last time I threw it.
Get toes in the line. Larry Sensei, what did you learn that you liked? I get close so we can the mic can hear you. What did you learn you liked?
Well, I liked reviewing all the whitebill because it's been so darn long since I've done those.
Done
things.
those,
And those are the best things in the world because of the basics of what you start with.
Yeah.
And the
Been
side
about
stance and all that.
10 years since you did it. Well, you did nice though, I have to tell you. Greg Sensei, what did you learn you liked?
Well, the white belt material, and I think I learned what I don't like, and that's seeing Kerry Sensei in spandex.
Yes, we spared the internet people of Kerry Sensei's spandex cup.
It was a small interval.
It was very nice, very nice. Mr. Police Assassin?
I like doing the kicks.
Yeah?
Yeah,
What would you like about them?
the kicks.
What did you like about them?
They're cool.
Oh, okay. Andrew, what did you learn you liked?
I like the combat machete.
Yeah?
Just you can hack them to pieces.
It's fun stuff. It's ugly. And
The beheading. Of course.
our version, right? Actually, we have a better version than that. Simon, what did you learn you liked?
Of course, back to my white belt status training. It's great, just the hand-to-hand combat without weapons. And it's basically the scenario you get to see out in the street or anywhere where you need to defend yourself.
Good. Well, we forgot a defender bite. That's one thing we did forget to do. Oh, I'll promise to do a full series of the Swan next week if we get a chance. Okay. And Amadeus, what did you learn you like? A nice lip there, buddy.
Thank you. Compliments of Simon over here. No, I really appreciated the attention to detail. When we were doing the kicks, I realized small things that I wouldn't really think about are very important, such as having your hand down to protect your kidneys, which is something that's obviously vital. So a little attention to detail that really makes a big difference.
Yeah, we do an inordinate amount of detail work here. That is absolutely true. Kerry Sensei, what you learned you liked?
What I really enjoyed was during the forward, the advancing and retreating in the stance, seeing how well that sets us up for our kicks. It moves you perfectly into a fight.
It's been a little while since we've actually got into the real basics of that stuff. That's good. And Simon says?
Don't get beat up by a blue belt, and that's what Simon says.
And that's how you do that.
I've been looking for a girl like you, not to have, not to hold, just someone true. Taking all the love that I have to give. Don't you ever talk about having kids. All of my love, all of my kisses. Hope you never find about all my misses. Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. It's all good until you say those words to me. In the morning, it's the L word. In the evening, it's the L word. In my emails, it's the L word. Well, I can't take this anymore. To my mama, it's the L word. To my papa, it's the L word. To my sensei, it's the L word. Well, I can't take this anymore. I said, pay me mind, you think I got the time. You seem to think I got one thing on my mind. All those little things that I said to you, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna stay true blue. I count one, I count two, I count three, count four. When I think I got enough, I'm always one more. So don't spell it out, don't say it to me. 'Cause love, I don't mean one.